All right, ready to move on?
Ready.
All right, I actually saw a movie yesterday. I've seen a couple movies, but I think one of them's a little too old, so I won't go into that one. But I did see the movie Bird Box, which is all the buzz right now on Netflix, and the people are talking. It's got a 50 Metascore, a 6.8 out of 10 on here. It was 2 hours and 4 minutes long. And 5 years after an ominous unseen presence drives most of society to suicide, a mother and her 2 children make a desperate bid to reach safety. It's basically like if you see things, there's something that you see and it makes you commit suicide. It's a really weird sci-fi premise. That's why
Sounds like a great Christmas movie to watch with the family.
Yeah, we'll bring everybody together.
Very uplifting.
Yeah. It's got some really gruesome scenes early. Not gruesome, like super bad, but just like, lets you know that it's rated R. Of just people committing suicide, like banging their face against glass or jumping into a car. So it's got a pretty intense beginning, and then very quickly becomes the cheapest movie ever made.
They ran out of money. Classic. We ran out of money at this point in the movie.
No, I mean it was clever. I gotta give it to them. If you want to make a really cheap movie, make it so you can't see the thing that's going to kill you. Like,
oh, so are you saying they're creatively less is more than?
Yeah,
doing the Jaws number.
I'll give it to them. It was imagine if you saw the movie Signs, and then they never reveal the sign. It's like well, I don't know if there's no payoff because it's not in seeing it that you get what you want. But whenever they're walking around with blindfolds on for a lot of the movie, it's basically her trying to get down a river for certain reasons that will be explained in the movie. So I don't want to give.
Wait, isn't it Deliverance?
Like, oh, pedal fast.
Wow, they are just remaking everything.
No.
Putting a new spin on it.
No, to me, it was pretty good. By the way, real quick segue. How do you pronounce Miss Bullock's first name?
Who's in it? Sandra?
It's Sandra. Okay,
Bullock?
You call her Sandra Bullock. I call her Sandra Bullock. Because I'm high class. My girlfriend also calls it Sandra Bullock, and her mom calls it Sandra Bullock. And I just thought everybody was crazy. Like, I thought her name was Sandra Bullock.
I have a relative that's has that name. So.
Oh, okay. Because I've always called her Sandra Bullock, and I just got so surprised people are calling her Sandra Bullock. It's like, you hillbillies, what are you talking about?
Trying to be highfalutin, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, she does a pretty good job. I'm not a big fan of her. I think she could have been replaced, but she does. She
Sandra Bullock? Are we
well.
talking this from Speed? Miss Congeniality? Miss Sweetheart USA? Like, what?
Well, it's not really her role, I don't think. It's just kind of a darker role. I don't think. You mentioned payoff earlier. I don't think this movie really had the payoff I was looking for. It played out kind of like a Twilight Zone episode for a good portion of it, kind of like a Black Mirror type of movie. And then at the end, I don't know. To me, it just was not. I wasn't wowed at the end. Like, everything was worth it. Everything was good. It rolled on, kind of almost like a survival horror movie would.
Did it have the Spencer checklist of social isolation?
It's
in a hard to reach area.
No, and that might have been the problem. Although it had a minimal cast, I'll say that, but there wasn't complete isolation. So yeah, I guess maybe that was the big problem. They weren't sad enough about being alone. But yeah, I don't know if the payoff was really worth it at the end. It seemed like a movie where that was what you needed, Like a lot of sci-fi things, they're kind of empty until the big reveal. This one just lacked that punch at the end. So I'm gonna have to agree with the Metascore. It gave it a 50. I don't think it was bad, but I think giving it a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 blindfolds. It was a competent movie, but it needs a lot more to really wow. So there you go. There's my review of Bird Box.
Not to be confused with Birdman.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, and I really want to see that movie.
It's like an award-winning movie. It's got a ton of awards.
And I'm just watching Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you have to complain about? You didn't have to leave your couch.
And I'm just watching
And put on
Sandra.
clothes to the theater.
I'm watching Sandra Bullock in Bird Box. Do Sandra things. That's my loss.
I just had the craziest image of if my story is Sandra Bullock dressed as a bird and she's in a box and she has to getting to
8 out of 10
Bird
immediately.
Box. Yeah, immediately just for the concept alone.
Oh, John Malkovich is in it. He was really good. Forgot about that.
Yeah, but I mean when it's John Malkovich, it's not good. That's weird. You say it's a small cast. They probably couldn't afford anybody after those two A-listers, man.
Yeah. They probably put together the cast first. They're like, let's make a movie with Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock. And then let's get John Malkovich in it. And they're like, we don't have any money left. Okay, well, everyone's blindfolded. You can't see anything. And then they just kept going that way. That must have been how they put this movie together. Brilliant.
It must be. Oh, also, I just want to add in for the previews. Definitely not.